All right, so continuing down this path of the Warriors dynasty, I don't know if you guys heard the news, but I ain't gonna lie, and it's only the water. I mean, it's only the white people. Y'all know that, right? It's only white people that they do this stuff for. B Pods is off limits. He's an untouchable.
I'm starting to hate that word. Go ahead.
Not Clay Thompson, but B Pods. B Potterson, Pod McGee. They talked about this on NBA Today, so I want to play this small segment.
At this disaster of an offseason that they've had.
Disaster.
Disaster
I should question it.
of an offseason. Like, you look at this Warriors dynasty and what they have done in the last few years. They've gotten those big games, the big game hunting, and they have reeled in the big fish. And now you have a situation where you whiff on Paul George, you lose Chris Paul, which means you lose Jordan Poole for nothing, right? And then you do not get Lauri Markkanen. Well, theoretically, but you don't get Lauri Markkanen, and now you have a situation where you are trying to piecemeal something around Steph Curry because of the original sin of a few years ago, where you tried to build to the future while building to the present, and it has not worked. The Warriors should get on their knees and thank everybody that Steph Curry had that Game 4 against the Boston Celtics. That is because that has saved these last few years from being a totally different narrative the way we're talking about. This has been a hard offseason. I haven't even mentioned the fact that they lost Klay Thompson, which is something that was unthinkable at the beginning of this offseason.
Preach, cook.
But now, I heard that we actually shouldn't be thanking Steph Curry. We should be thanking Jason Tatum for having a stinker class. Did Steph save the Warriors from having a different narrative? Some would say Tatum. He shot 36% that finals.
It's fucking both, bro.
No, I'm just saying he shot 36% that finals. So this is the Lauri trade that fell through. The Warriors' final offer was Moses Moody, multiple picks. They're doing a swaps, all that stuff like that. But the Jazz said, hey, if we can't get B Pods, we just probably won't do the trade. If we can get B Pods, we can do the trade. If we can't get B Pods, well, just hang on to the guy. They said, no, what the fuck? Like, what are we doing? Wanted to know if that was a mistake. Wanted to know if that was the right thing to do. There's some other things to talk about in their dynasty falling apart. But how do we feel about them not letting go of yet another white guy?
I mean, for me, this is easy. You could argue that business-wise, Pods, Moody, and however many picks would have been a loss. If you want to, that's fine. It's nothing to do with what I'm going to say, though. They're not serious about Steph Curry winning a championship next season or the year after or the year prior. So, yeah, at this point, you either let it be painfully known, market it that way that, retirement tour coming soon, or let Curry free, bro. One of the two. They're trolling.
Free Curry. I've been on this train, honestly, since last year. I just feel like at this point, if the Warriors are just going to waste his time, and I think this move right here is a clear path of we're wasting Steph Curry's time when you can get an all-star caliber player in Lauri Markkanen, when you just lost Klay Thompson, when you need that secondary scorer next to Steph Curry, passing that up because of B-Pods, and respect to B-Pods, I don't think he's a bad player. But nah, even if you want to give them the benefit of the doubt that they didn't make a mistake not trading James Wiseman and like the young guys that they had back then, fine. But now they aren't the championship contenders that they were in 2022. They, if anything, got a second chance of trading their younger guys for more win now guys because Kuminga's stock rose, because Moses Moody's stock rose, and B Pods was a good rookie last season. And for them to have multiple chances to get other stars again and for them to whiff, nah, they're trolling. To be fair, though, the Paul George shit isn't necessarily their fault. The Clippers just didn't want to trade Paul George to Golden State. But, nah.
And before Omar puts up Wilt numbers, because this has been his agenda for like a couple years now, let me just say...
I'm practicing. Hold on.
Let me just say, without a doubt, again, for anybody who doesn't understand what Bezos is, I'm assuming Bezos is saying, let alone myself. It's not that Lauri Markkanen is this clear-cut guy that is worth all of that or is just that damn good. It's the principle of hey, instead of getting a guy that is better than all the names we've mentioned, an all-star caliber guy along with Steph Curry, now we're keeping the young guys. That's what it is. It's not necessarily, again, to me, it's not the worst case of asset management in terms of this specific trade if it was just these assets involved. It's the fact that Steph Curry is on the roster and these niggas is like building for the future. It's trolling Curry currently to keep a roster like this. So at this point, either, again, let everybody know that, hey, y'all, he ain't going nowhere. He's retiring a Warrior, and just be straight up about it, or let that man go, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I cooked this one up a minute ago. Shouts out to David, what was that? David Johnson Jr. or whatever? Let me see. David Dennis Jr. Shouts out to David Dennis Jr. for, going on the platform and saying what, I've been saying for some years ago, but you're late, buddy. I cooked this up years ago. And a lot of people came at me, no pause. They came at me because of just pure hatred for my take. And I was trying to tell people something, everything doesn't have to materialize tomorrow. We don't have to change our minds and opinions off of one game and we jump up and then we jump back down and we ebb and we flow based off of the results of one game. I had this take 4 years in the making at this point.
Yeah.
Hell,
still on Discord.
I had it in 2022, but you definitely said it first.
They won the championship in 22, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I had it 2 seasons before. I had this shit 4 years in the making. That shit is crazy. That's a crock pot. That's a stew. A real stew. A Wagyu beef. Fine wine. But I'm here to uncork that wine. Just pour me up a glass, man. I gotta pour me up a glass. Here's to the Warriors dynasty. It was cool and all, but if we're being honest with you, it's been worse than every other dynasty in NBA history.
Whoa.
You know why? Yeah. And that's not even my hot take. That's just me putting my nose in the glass, B-Souls, and smelling the aroma.
Like Marcus Jordan.
Whoa, come on, gang. Come on.
Y'all see that pic?
All right. Okay. The reason
it's the
why
worst dynasty for real?
the reason why I say that, if we look at the words dynasty, dynasty, I guess they're the best, huh? Ooh. Hey, double entendre. Don't ask me how.
Chat, y'all better kill him. If I said dynasty,
Don't ask.
If I said dynasty, Jesus Christ, y'all would have. Man, no, bro. Do not let him get away with dynasty.
Convenience store right now, any type of 24-hour store.
Bro.
Yeah, that shit was hard. The reason why I say that is because one of the greatest things about dynasties is the ability to retool, right? And I think that's the true marker of a real dynasty, is the ability to retool. And I might stretch how I define dynasty right here, but I could just think of look, yeah. But I could think of the Celtics, retooling from the 60s to the 70s to the 80s. Now, they won all the rings in these time spans. They didn't win all of them, but they definitely kept themselves as contenders, definitely kept themselves important, and definitely kept themselves as winners because they were able to retool, right?
Wait, question. That whole 60s to 80s Celtics of you is one dynasty?
No. Just damn.
Oh, okay. You asked a question.
Let him cook.
You said right.
It's not time for you to put it's not time for you to put your spoon in my stew and taste it yet. All right. Let me get it off.
Give you the grandmama slap.
Let me cook. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yes. Hey, get out of there. It's not done yet. When we talk about the Los Angeles Lakers of the Showtime era, we're having fun. We've got Norm Nixon as the point guard. We've got Magic Johnson as the other point guard. Kareem, he's getting old. Jamal Wilkes, knuckleball shot. All that's cool and all. But somewhere down the line, they say, you know what? we gotta switch it up. We gotta get Big Game James. We gotta get Rambis some more minutes. We gotta get Byron Scott a little bit of a retool, and boom, they're right back in the mix. The Bulls in the 90s go through that first little 3-peat. They're having some fun, winning it. Can't bring that back. Horace, get out of here. Some of y'all bigs, some of y'all guards, get out of here. Second 3-peat, they revamp. Like Miss Elliott said, I put my thing down, flip it, and reverse it. Is your friend yet? Right? Right? Same thing with the Lakers in the 2000s. And when they little 3-peat celebrating, Shaq gets fat. He has to get out of there. Kobe goes through some turmoil. They get Gasol, and they winning again. I'm cooking. Hear me out. The Spurs did the same exact shit. Winning with D-Rob, cool. They go and get a little French guy, go and get a little Argentinian guy, win it again, cool. They flip that, it's a little old. They go get Kawhi Leonard, cool. That is the sign of real dynasties. The diamonds in the roughs. They're getting those good guys. The Warriors had so many opportunities. Yeah, they got Kevin Durant. That's cool. They could have fucking extended it by letting go of some of these young draft picks. Let me say this. The biggest fumbles over the years, this is Cruz's take, drafting James Wiseman, the Jordan Poole extension, not getting rid of Moses Moody, Kuminga, and some of them other G League motherfuckers, like I been said, and putting real talent around the super chef. Curry went out there and had 36 today on a huge stage. That's a real guy. That's a real guy. That's a talent.
Top 5 of them, I'd say.
You've been top 5 to me. And even if that's not necessarily the truest thing, to add on to what Omar's saying, even though he didn't say it in English 101 level, yeah, the reason why I won't call them the worst, but easily most disappointing dynasty is with all the dynasties you named. Hell, I even started thinking of football, the Patriots, teams that don't even win Super Bowls sometimes, with like the Steelers back then and the Niners, or teams that keep winning like the Chiefs. All of the times have we noticed during all of these dynasties that we've named and or are naming, they take a hiccup, a hitch, or a dive when the player that the dynasty was built around starts declining. Stephen Curry's been good this entire fucking time. The entire time. Steph Curry, arguably to some, has been getting better. And the idea that the Warriors fans, Laker fans, basketball fans get upset at this take, but the idea they only got 4 is kind of nasty, bro. I ain't gonna lie.
It's weak. It's weak. And I'm gonna say this, and here we are again, because I don't know what the future holds. Hell, they might be able to squeak one out again. They might be able to. Draymond already talking on these pods. I listened to him on, I think, the Jeff Teague podcast the other day. Oh, well, I probably got 3 more years. Me, damn. Okay, that's that. Now Clay is gone. We really putting the clock on there. Now they got another opportunity to get a guy on their team. And they say to themselves, B-pods. B-pods. Now, mind you, I might argue, and Warriors fans are going to hate this, they just got B-pods a couple years ago with Jordan Poole. Right? No. So it sounds like
kill you, and they probably should for that. They probably should for that.
No, and they're not gonna understand what I'm saying, but I'm right, so it doesn't really matter. I don't have to elaborate. They found a guy, a little guard that can play off Curry, facilitate, shoot the ball, score, all that stuff like that. You found that already, diamond in the rough. You got it again. I'm not saying which one is better. That's not what I'm arguing about right now. You found that 2 times. It sounds like if you got rid of him to get Lauri Markkanen, a guy you're not going to be able to find again, you'll probably be able to find another little guard again to play next to Curry. But no, we're going to stick with B-pods. You did it with Jordan Poole. Draymond punched him in the face. He had to go. You're back at square one. I don't know, bro. Sage is disappointing as fuck, bro.
I think it's weird when we have these conversations. I must tie it back to the Lakers. With like THT, or like THT being the young guy, so don't trade for a player like Lowry, for example. And I know we're just naming names there for the fans that disagree there, but I just find it interesting that with these young guards, they're so untouchable assets when you have elder superstars on them, when we're the same NBA fans that talk about, yo, guard is the deepest position,
Thank
and
you.
this is the deepest era of basketball. It's like, bro, you could sneeze and find a good guard. You could sneeze and find a 75 overall out there somewhere, bro. If that's the same NBA that you're going to cape for, the we done with the 90s, 80s, 70s, 60s, and the 2000s is on the way. You're going to have all of these things. The idea that these and I don't want to say B Pods' name specifically because I'm actually very high on him. I think he's a damn good player. But the idea that Moses Moody, if I have to name somebody, is not untouchable, but for what? It's crazy to me, bro. Bro, just trade Moses Moody, bro. What are we talking about? Even at the big men, even at the bigs, but I could understand certain bigs need to be wired a certain way to be on championship contenders. But even the bigs, you can sneeze and find some of these guys, considering the talent that they currently are. Oh, but their potential. I don't give a damn about their potential. Curry's 34. They're trying to win tomorrow.
Are y'all mad that the Warriors dynasty didn't last longer?
I mean, at the core, at the core, I'm a basketball fan. So, and I wasn't mad when KD was there. Even I know that's weird, but I'm a weird guy. But that's what I'm saying. I like eras where, hey, if somebody's out there dominating the league, tough shit, gang. I would have liked to see LeBron win 10 MVPs. I would have liked to see the Warriors keep winning until there was one superhero, that actually beat the bad guys. So yeah, for sure, I would have liked to see the Warriors been more dominant.
I think the reason why I am so upset about it is because there was a layup right there. It was a layup. Take the layup. Take some of the layups. And even if I feel like the most uncontrollable thing out of what they did was Kevin Durant, Draymond. I think that situation was fractured, and it was more so about emotions and feelings. And you can always talk about, hey, I would have talked to. We could have talked to them or whatever. We could have probably remedied the situation, but that's totally different. Two veterans, they got into it, and I was over. They could have controlled every other situation, and they just did not. They literally had the keys and could control every other situation and at least make an attempt, and they just did not. For a bunch of guys who aren't players in this league, y'all know how I feel about dominance in this league. When people dominate, it does so much more for the league than I think parity does. And last but not least, if they were able to run off something like what we predict, 2, 3 more rings, 4 more rings, that would be something that would be so much more impressive to me than anybody else who has done something like that. Because the last time we saw something like that, the league had 8 teams. There was only 2 black players allowed on the team. And the country was divided because Martin Luther King had just gotten shot, right? So if they were able to put together 8 rings in 12 years or whatever the case may be, wow. That's something that could not have, that's too crazy. That would be too crazy. And modern day basketball, that would be too crazy.
It's also easier to rap about that to your son or something like that. And I think that's for every organization, sports league or whatever. You know, I'm going to bring a WWE or anime reference in these. For example, bro, at the end of the day, we could talk about who y'all want to be champ or anything like that. But when 5 years go down, you niggas that watch wrestling are going to bring up, yo, that nigga Roman Reigns really held the belt for 1,000 days.
Thank you.
You're not going to forget that. Obviously, you're not going to forget Nikola Jokic. You're not going to forget Luka Doncic if he gets one. You're not going to get Jason Tatum who has one, anything like that. But yo, that nigga Curry won 7 championships would have been eternal. And 4 is still eternal. But 7, nigga.
7 is 7 in a modern day. Because again, they don't, if we're keeping it a buck, they don't respect Bill. They don't respect the 11. They don't respect that. They don't respect.
There's a reason why they fuck with 6 from MJ.
Come on, bro. They don't respect some of them other guys. They starting to lose respect for the 5 and that Magic guy. They don't respect that. They respect Michaels. They respect Kobe's. They respect the back-to-backs of some of these guys. But that would just be a whole different level of wow, this is what dominance look like.
Absolutely.
Tragic.
I don't even disagree.
Yeah. Somebody that does disagree, Draymond and Steph love these moves. They are excited about the moves that Golden State made this summer. Just to remind you the moves before we move on. Buddy Hield left, Clay left the team. Buddy Hield and Kyle Anderson are added, and they got DeAnthony Melton.
Yeah, same thing that I said earlier. If we're talking about the Golden State Warriors in terms of just being in front office, these are actually decent moves. In fact, I would even argue the young talent there actually would make it okay, cool. It's just when you add the context that Steph Curry's on the team, it's like, y'all not serious. y'all are unserious about winning tomorrow. Now, if you think Curry's going to be good in what's this year, 24, 25, you think Curry's going to be good in 2027? And these niggas going to be as good as they need to be in 2027? Or are you really high and think they'll be that damn good this year? Okay, let's find out. But I don't want question marks, and I'm trying to win with my 34, 35-year-old superstar. But in terms of what they've done, I don't think it's the worst thing. Maybe that's a scorcher. I like DeAnthony Melton. I like Buddy Hield even in the year of 2025. If you're just asking him to shoot the ball, I like B-Pods. I like Moses Moody's potential in the league to be a serviceable two-guard. Love Jonathan Kuminga. He's damn good. But again, Curry's on the team, bro.
Before we get into this rankings, this tier list, because I think this will be interesting, but I actually don't think it'll take too long. I want to go ahead and get our hot takes of the week out of the way. B-Souls.
Oh, my hot take of the week was Steve Kerr was most overrated coach. So I'll say it again. He is the most overrated coach in history.
Damn. I mean,
because I was thinking just 21st century, but then when you move back the line to the 90s, who was really overrated in the 90s and the 80s? Like, who was overrated? At that point, that might as well be history. In history.
Most overrated in history. I think.
Who would you name?
How high do you think people rate Steve Kerr? Start there.
I ain't gonna lie. Top 10, top 5 of our generation.
Top 10 all time. I ain't heard nobody say that, but if they are, I might agree with you. If someone thinks Kerr's a top 10 coach all time, 5 of the generation, it's debatable because he's just had that amount of success. I don't know.
Just name me 3 more overrated coaches in your opinion.
3 more overrated coaches. There's a damn good argument for Phil Jackson.
Yeah.
Overrated. You could. I ain't gonna push that agenda today.
Maybe. You could say Red Auerbach if it's the 60s type shit.
I don't even know who that is.
Wow.
Let me see.
Okay.
Let me see. Overrated. So who do people like that I think is ass?
I don't even think Doc Rivers is overrated at this point.
No, he's not.
His PR is
people are gonna
shitter,
name Doc Rivers. Yeah, I looked off Doc Rivers. People don't like Doc Rivers. Ty Lue, maybe. If you're high on Ty Lue. And then I guess a third name, just to throw it out there. So if someone's calling Spo the GOAT and they're like, fuck no, not even close type shit, and maybe Spo would be in there one day if people get tired of like him continuously losing in Miami.
People don't like Pop too, but
people do not like Pop. People do not like Pop.